Morning. Van's in for a service, so it's time to chase some debts. Good morning, everybody. It's Monday morning. It is the 3rd of October, and it's 9:15. And I'm just making a little video because this morning the van's gone for a service. So that's left me with some time on my hands. It won't be ready probably till around lunchtime. And it was the end of the month and I did all my figures. And I've looked at some late payers from July. So all the July ones should have now been paid completely by now. And there were 3 that were outstanding. Now, I have been keeping an eye on these over the time. Some of them are now just over 2 weeks overdue, and one of them is a month overdue. They've all had reminders via email and via text. And I have had a couple of responses from them with excuses, usually ranging from, sorry, been on holiday, and the other one was, the lady who does my accounts is not here. But at the end of the day, I'm not overly interested in any of that. You've had so much time to pay these bills that you should have paid them on time. There's no excuse to be late anyway. You're already getting a long period of time to pay your debt. So just pay it. Now, I've checked on all 3 of them and they're all still active on the courier exchange. So they're not out of business. They've not been taken out of business like that. They're just basically dragging their feet, being ignorant. I've even gone through the CX records to check that all the pods were uploaded. 2 of them are then, I'm always wary of these from now on, where they've requested that the POD be posted, you know, when you complete the job. And it seems to me a bit of an excuse. They can use that as an excuse. We didn't receive it. And then you end up sending copies. So obviously it's a word to the wise. Keep copies of everything that you send to customers. Always keep copies of your pods until you're paid. And it seems to me that it's the ones that you post seems to be the main problem. It's a convenient excuse, isn't it? Whereas the ones that go via the CX, there's no real excuse anyway, is there? They can't deny they've had it. They can't deny they've had the invoice. But that aside, I've got time this morning to do some phone calls to them. I'm not going to get fobbed off. And I'm not overly interested if they're a bit annoyed with me ringing them and badgering them. Because quite frankly, once I've been paid, I do not intend to do any business with these companies again. I will be completely blocking them from my feed. One of the ones I didn't even realise actually rang me on Friday to cover a job for them. I didn't realise it was a company that still owed me money. As it happens, I was busy and couldn't do it. But the cheek of some of these people. So I'll be chasing them up, be giving them some grief, because quite frankly, they've had long enough, all of them, and I'm not interested in the pathetic excuses, and I don't really care if I upset or offend anybody when I ring them. Because quite frankly, you can't pay your debts. You're not really someone I care to be bothered with anyway. So that's what's going to happen this morning. So that'll be carrying on. And now a little bit of housekeeping. I had a complaint from a fellow YouTuber who said to me, you never mentioned my channel when you did your Q&A session. And he was correct, I didn't, because it is difficult to remember everybody. So by way of apology, I'm going to mention him now. His name is Tom. He has his own channel. It's called TG Logistics. He generally does a week in the life type videos, and they are interesting because you get an overview of what someone does throughout the week. So for those people, if you're thinking of coming on and everything, you know, you can see, again, from someone else's perspective, what a typical week is. Last week, for example, my week was a good week. It wasn't the best week I've ever had, but I generally kept moving. I made a satisfactory amount of money. I made over the minimum that I need. So, you know, it meant that obviously I'd pay myself my minimum wage, pay all the bills, and there's a surplus left over that stays in the company, because obviously days like today, I'm probably not going to be earning today. The van's in for its service. It's a major service, going to take at least half a day. I've asked them to go through the van from top to bottom to check for anything, you know, suspension, drop links, everything, all the brakes. Because as we all know, the van is our lifeblood. The van has to be right. If your van's not right, you can't earn a penny. So besides the normal full service, I've asked them to go through everything, and if it needs doing, do it. I put aside money every week, as I've said in previous videos. I put £50 a week away, actually, for the van, for contingencies like this, because you know there's going to be times when it's going to take just more than regular servicing. For example, this major service is being done now. Then I'll do an interim service in 15,000 miles, which is just basically an oil and filter change. And then the next major service will also mean it needs a timing belt. And now the van's not all that old, but because of the mileage that it will have accrued by that time, I'll need to change the timing belt, which will be an expensive one, because top of my head, what, 500 quid for a timing belt change, because they'll do the water pump at the same time, plus the service itself. I might be looking at nudging close to £800-900. But that's the cost of running it, and that means that I put money aside all the time to take care of that. So that's how I'll be carrying on. So it was just a little update, obviously, all about how I'd begun on the Courier Exchange 3 months or so ago. Things are going reasonably well. I've had some absolutely excellent weeks, and I've had some average weeks, but I've not really had a massively poor week, although I do know that come January it goes very, very dead, and I am prepared for that. Now, since I'm off and since I've got this time, I've also got a Zoom meeting scheduled for 10 o'clock. And this is for a company that doesn't operate on the CX. I'm not going to say the name yet, because I'm going to see how the meeting goes. But basically, they're quite big in the Northwest, and they've got a lot of big prestigious clients. And I was asked if I'd be interested going on their books. Now, they've sent me lots of stuff via email that you've got to fill in, similar to CX, about your liability insurance, and they want the dimensions of the van, photographs of the van, passport details. You've also got to have a police check. And before I commit to any of that, we're going to have a chat with the guy who owns the business on a Zoom meeting, which is scheduled for 10 o'clock. So that's not too long now. And I'm going to see if it's worth it, first of all, because if the money that they can pay me isn't significantly better than the Courier Exchange, then I might not bother, because one of the things I noticed is that their minimum requirement for public liability is 2 million. And I have 1 million because that was what the Courier Exchange wanted. I've also got to have a police check done. And again, so I'd have to pay for that. So if what they offer is not particularly better than Courier Exchange rates that I tend to get, I might not bother, because it means I'd have to pay my insurers to up my cover to 2 million. I'd have to pay the 20 quid or so to have the police check, which I don't generally need. I'm not particularly willing to do it if it's no different. But I'm going to see what they've got to say, and I shall keep you updated. Because you can never have too many contacts, can you? Because obviously there are times when the Courier Exchange is dead and you struggle to get work. It's not all roses. So that'll be it. Just a little short video, just a little update on what's going on with me in the 3 months that I've started. So far, so good is what I'd say. There are days when it could have been better, and there are days when I just really couldn't have done any more money if I tried. It is very much a mixed match, but on the whole, I am pleased with how things have gone so far, considering I don't really have any customers of my own and I have been relying totally on the courier exchange. So thank you for watching my channel. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, and thank you for liking the videos. I think I've got 370 subscribers now, which is amazing, considering I started 3 months ago. And I'm hoping to get more. So if you've not already subscribed, please subscribe to it. And please like the videos, because they do get further out to people. And if you do like what I've got to say and think it's useful, then please consider sharing it on other platforms. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all soon.